Sometimes I don't even know if I'm on the right frequency.
You may not find us on your TV, because in case you did not know, we're being brought to you by
OTR.
Brought to you by
27.085 megahertz.
Brought to you by RADI.
The Old Tube Radio Network.
Well, hi there on the old, tired Tube Radio Network, where it is yet another year, and the old Tube Radio Network traverses into its 40th year, doing whatever it is that we do here on the 11-meter Citizen Radio Band, Class D, that kind of stuff. Just checking the meters to see if it looks like we are reasonably on the air. I think so. If this meter is moving around, that's a good sign. If the orb band is jumping on, that's a pretty good sign. I see some of you all over at oldtuberadio.net, which apparently is working. I think you can jump in and get the audio off of oldtuberadio.net. Looks like you can leave some comments, so that is good. There's a link there if you want to jump in and listen to the Facebook audio. You just have to choose between the audios. You want to choose which one you want to listen to, or you can be right here, right now in the Central Valley with your beams and beacons pointed toward net control, and you should be able to hear us, and we will hear you, and we'll get you checked in. With that said, I want to say Happy New Year. Hope whatever amount of 2026 has happened so far, it has been good for you, and if not, it should get better. So that's all I have to say on that. Anybody would like to check in before we get started? We'll do that right now. Looking for early check-ins on the old Tube Radio Network. 195 up in Corscold. You are sounding good, Jim. We will go to page 4 and get the X in the square.
Thank you, sir. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. We already got a check-in for 61, Copenhagen, way north of town.
56.
And just for kicks, possibly 56. I've got the X in the square looking good, Phil. Got you checked in.
Thank you, Dennis.
And I know there are a couple of you checking in early on the YouTube site, and some of you have already checked in over the .net site, and we will get you there as well. The Echo link is up. Yes, it is. And we will continue on.
Break OTR.
Break OTR, go ahead.
Hello there, Dennis. 53 checking in, and Happy New Year there, brother.
All right, Happy New Year. Welcome to 2026, and 53 has got the check-in.
Thank you.
Speaking of check-ins, it looks like my check-in schedule is back up in the window. Let's see if it followed around. It is good, except, there we go. That's what I'm looking for right there. 00. I know 00 is in because I saw the infamous number 15 jumping in over at a couple of sites. So Hans, Alpha 173, I will get you checked in right now, and we'll get started off here. The old Tube Radio Network, real radios glowing in the dark, promoting the use and distributing information about the Class D 11-meter Citizen Radio service when we can, possibly helping you make adjustments, or even just giving a forum so you can get your tube radios on there. The classic radios from 1958. It was September 11th of 1958 when the FCC banged their gavel, or whatever it is that the FCC does, and said we are creating the Class D Citizens Radio Service. And at that time, I do believe any and all devices for sale or that you could obtain to run on 11 meters were tubes, and that kind of continued all the way through till about 1977 or 78, when none of them were tubes, at least the new ones anyway, but there were still a lot of thousands and thousands of sets, maybe millions of the tube radios still hanging around at that time. And fast forward to 2026, and that is still the case. And hopefully we will grab a few of those tonight give you the sight and sound of what it might have been like were you to be sitting in the air chair back in 1965 or 1972 or whatever the day might be. And we've got some great operators, whether they are on the air or joining us digitally or otherwise. And so we welcome all of you. The roll call follows. I will try and keep up with that. We've got to check in, of course, for SWL number 1. The other thing I'm going to try to do tonight is I went back to the audio archives and pulled out a couple of, I guess, if we've been on long enough now, we can get some golden oldies. So back from the audio streams of, 10, 12 years ago, we'll pop those in during the tube radio check-ins when it gets slows down. I want to say hello to California, Morgan Canyon, Belfast, Maine, Rancho Cordovas in with us. Lake Elsinore will be coming up to you. Edmonton, Alberta, sounding good. You guys are beaconing in on most frequencies these days. Hello to Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Virginia, Florida, and a host of others yet to be on frequency. SWL 1, we've got the Cosmic check-in. SWL number 2, who could be indeed 5 pounds, good modulation somewhere between Chestnut and Herndon. And I did have, here it is. I lost my pen already, having got to SWL number 3. I'm getting a check-in also for Rob. SW number 3. We're going to have some audio from Rob tonight as we will be going back to an email that he got, I think it was 14 years ago, from someone that actually worked at General Radio Telephone. Okay, there it is. My chat wasn't updated, so now I see everybody. And thank you, OBP. Looking good. Let's go to SWL number 5, and we will check in. I think he's still on. I haven't been over there in a bit, but we'll check in with 21 and see what's happening in beautiful old radio night tonight. Not sure what radio is on. Rob says, bang their gavel, followed by a faceplant. It's like, yeah, what have we done? It seemed like a good idea on paper, this 11-meter thing. Let's go to SWL 7. And we're actually going to hear from SWL 7 at night, I think, on one of our old tube radio archives. Jumping up to, let's head out to Sangertown for 982 Dirt Dog.
Proxy the Dirt Dog.
Proxying in 982 the Dirt Dog will do. We'll also look for SWL 10. 10 and 30. I will keep an eye out for northern Idaho. There's a lot of static going on. It was kind of rainy and windy around here, but I don't hear any skip. We'll see what happens. Up to SWL 11 and 12, that's, of course, Dan and Dapper Dan. Mr. Cornbread, looking good, and Dan is checking in. Dapper Dan is checking in, looking dapper, feeling dapper, as am I. The suit has made it. The seersucker suit has made it through another year, and I think I still have all the buttons on here, so I'm feeling good about that. So thank you, Dan and Dapper Dan. SWL 13, possibly from the crossband, and I do think it is up and running. Yeah. I heard that. All right, sounds like it's a feedback loop, but you are sounding good, and you are checked in, number 13, KB6GFD. All right, we got 13 checked in on the crossband. Number 10 and 30. Hello, Dwayne and Chrissy. I'll get you guys in right now. I haven't heard a speck of E-skip, sporadic or whatever it is that we need to catch you guys, but don't turn off the Browning just yet. And there's Tony. Now that is interesting. All right, Tony, you're doing some trickery, but I got you over. KB6 GFD. All right, I think he actually went to the fusion mode. Let's see what happens with that. Let's go to back out to Sanger, SWL 14.
Yeah, hello, Dennis. SWL 14 checking in and looking forward to operating these old tube radios here in 2026.
As am I. Hopefully there'll be plenty from which to choose. There might be opportunities to get more. So keep the radio table handy or get ready to build a new one. You're sounding good.
I appreciate the check-in and looking forward to this evening.
The Old Tube Radio Network. The guy that checked in as 00 and is also SWL 15, getting the 2-for-1 check-in. Thank you, Hans, out there in Denmark, way over there somewhere. I see you. You know, Anil, I see you. 147. Let's grab you now in case you have to jump out and scroll off my screen. Kakalaki, early, 10 meters, hot this week. Yeah, you know, it was, especially for you guys out there. The UK, Wales, France, Germany, Scotland. I was listening in today. And here on the West Coast, it was Brazil, Paraguay. It was all of South America coming in. Could get Hawaii, which we get all the time, but it's a couple of hops for you guys, but not long enough to get back. But anyway, keep trying. We're still in cycle 25. I was reading the solar report, and they said something about, well, yeah, maybe we're what's the word? Waning a little bit on that, but it could be good through 2026. We'll find out. Anyway, 73 Dr. Jazz 887 in the Carolinas. We have you officially checked in. Were I to click the proper button, and there we go. SWL 16, Charlie, you signed on. SWL 16 signed on for another year. Another year. You know, you have to sign up for a year. You can't just do it for a week. Signing up for another year of OTR behind the scenes, helping us out to try and put all the clip leads where they should go. So thanks for that. What do they say? We couldn't do it without you. And boy, we got a lot of Echolink links tonight, so we'll grab those. SWL 17, SWL 18. I've got a check in for Mikey from Facebook. SWL 19. Yes, Chet. We have got the tube glowing once again. So good to see you out there, and you have also signed up for another year of cue cards and whatever. They've added to something to your to-do list. Hopefully it's a good thing. But anyway, thanks for joining us. Keeping me on track here. Let's head way out to the west side or somewhere near it for SWL 20.
Number 20 here. Please check me in, and number 29 and number 54. And I will probably be back a little later. Good evening, Dennis.
Okay, you are sounding good. Hopefully you are hearing me okay. And we will look for the beaconing signal coming up a little bit later in the program, in the net.
You betcha. Catch you later, Dennis.
Direct net roll call is where we are at page 1. If you're playing the home game and coming up the glowing tube radios parading across your screen, we hope. Or in your speaker somewhere. SWL 21 is probably sitting in front of his air chair. If I remember where I put it, let me see. I think we have some audio and video of these guys. Let me see. Yeah.
Please check me in.
There it is. There's the replay.
Number 29
When you hear my voice,
54.
JT, go ahead and take a check-in.
And I will
We're listening for you guys.
Be back a little later.
I'll put up some video here. I'll put up some video if I
I
can.
gotta turn you down
Gonna turn me down.
on the chat here.
All right.
You're good. I'm
All right, here comes the video if you're looking.
Cool.
It's got the +2 and the white face. Oh, did I lose my audio? I'm hearing you guys. Maybe I lost my audio. I think I lost the program link. Let me re-up it here.
Oh, awesome.
There we go. I like that radio. I mean, there's not much to it when you go to a Johnson Whiteface.
Go ahead.
Here we
All
go.
right, SWL 21 on its Whiteface Johnson. Checking in. Break.
JUX 183 checking in.
Have we got 183? Boy, if that's coming out of the Whiteface, that is good audio. And the
Thank you, Harvey. Everybody have a happy new year.
All right, thank you, JT. We got that. The Turner microphonium looks good, and also the tube radio. We're gonna put you on the list for the Johnson Whiteface things. Yeah, I think we could make that an official check-in for the Whiteface Johnson coming in from Old Radio 9. Let me get back to my list of lists for SWL 22. Shortwave listener 23. I'm looking at my chart here. It seemed to be dragging behind here. SWL 24. Looking for 23 Skidoo. 24 usually checks in early. Let's go way out there to SWL 25.
Happy New Year, Dennis. 25 checking in.
All right, Jerry, you're looking good. Happy 2026 to you, and it's still working. You're sounding good.
Well, as long as it's working, as my ex-German boss would say, I guess that's a good thing. Anyway, check 74 in too, and Happy New Year all.
All right, we will get 74 and 25 checked in here on the Old Tube Radio Network. OldTubeRadio.net is up and running. If you're there, you can join us on the YouTube side by clicking on that link, or you can hang out and listen in, leave a comment if you wish, check in there. Or better yet, you drive here into Central California and bring your Tube Radio with you. We'll get you checked in.
As you say, I checked in earlier.
I don't know. I'll check you in now. I never know what page I'm on, but 24 is in. Over.
Copy that. Have a good night, sir.
Now, I was looking because I didn't have an X in the square. That's what threw me, because you normally get in early, and I looked down and I hadn't written it in. I thought, did I forget? I guess not.
No, I forgot.
Okay, not a problem. You are live and direct and official for 2026. Thanks. Let me acknowledge some of you scrolling off my screen. World Radio 332 said he would drive to the park to check in, but no conditions. I did talk to some parks on the air this week. I think one was in Kansas, believe it or not, and the other one I can't remember. It was in Texas or Florida. It was on 15 meters. So that might work, but probably not on this particular frequency. Hello to who else checking in with us? Bill. Bill Curtis is checking in. Hello to Doug. Also jumping in the old tube radio. Foxman 362, always busy at the air chair and the microphone. Have to check out the videos. I don't think I've jumped in since Christmas Day when you were talking to Trinidad and all over the world. Hello, Yellow Springs, Ohio. Frank Dancer, Frank D, number 1 checking in. Thanks for joining us, the Old Tube Radio Network. Private Thor. And all the stations up across the border that always have a good signal here on just about any band. We have a good NVIS jump to you guys up there. I want to see who else we might have missed it checked in early. Life with James asking just barefoot ? Tube radios. Well, we check in the shortwave listeners. You don't have to have a tube radio to jump in here, but yeah, these are the sets, the tube radios that were what you would purchase, what you would need to get on the Class D citizen radio service from 1958 to 1977 or so when they stopped making them. Sort of like classic cars, you know. They'll have a Friday or Saturday night gathering at the hamburger stand, and the people with their old jalopies will drive through the fins and chrome. That is what this is, your fins and chrome of CB radio from the 1950s, 60s, and 70s, as they will be coming across the radio here in about 30 minutes after the roll call. Alderman 482, thanks for joining us up tonight. Rockin' and rollin', yes, indeed. Hello, Smitty, I see you, and looks like you guys are up on the Echolink, so we'll probably jump in here in Echolink in about 15 minutes or so. Brett, S2 Outrider, the Okie Outrider, jumping in with us tonight. Ben Hur joining us once again. Happy New Year to you guys. I see 0015. South Carolina will be joining you on Echolink to get the tubes on the air going. I see 78 was in there. Boy, a lot of people jumping in tonight. Jay-Z is in, coming to you guys. And Kenny, SWL 69. All right, I see you, Kenny. We will get you checked in, and then we will continue with the directed net roll call, SWL 69. And Kenny, we might even be hearing from one of your radios tonight. Let's go to SWL 26. Shortwave listener 27. SWL 28. I always need to talk with Gary to see what's on the menu. How are you guys doing up there with the rain and wind and stuff? It hasn't been too bad here. I think it's going to rain all day tomorrow, though. Going to paint the green room tomorrow. We're going to do that? We're not going to wait until the spring? I've got all the paint cloths because I was doing some other painting. Guess what color? I don't know. But first, a cold RC Cola and a hot pretzel. All right. I'm not a pretzel guy, but the cola doesn't sound too bad. He says he hopes the net is as hot as the pretzel. And I'm curious to see what they came up with, because you know those colors are these little tiny color chips, and they hold it up and say, yeah, that's good. And then they paint the whole room, and it's not that good. Gary, you are checked in. We've got a proxy check-in for SWL 29. SWL 30, listening in the radio room, waiting for some skip to northern Idaho, we hope. SWL 31, hello to Robert and Teresa out there in Hendersonville, Tennessee. I hope the weather is doing you okay out that way. And SWL 32, Rob, I saw your email right at the last point as I was running around here trying to make things work. So yeah, easy does it. I've been, when I can, jumping around on various frequencies, 15 meters, 12 meters, and 10 meters, and seeing where the propagation is at. And seeing if there's any hot spots into Texas from here. And you got to be in the right, as you already know, you got to be in the right spot at the right time. So we will see what happens. But like I say, keep on the mend, and no doubt we will hook up on various frequencies. And likewise, Happy New Year. SWL 33, myself, and anybody that might jump through here and need a check-in, Bozo Control, all those people. Also a check-in for SWL 34. That's, of course, Jimmy and all he does with the Facebook pages. Railroader, Captain Chaos, and the whole crew there. SWL 35, I'm seeing if Mr. Bill, Red Monkey Communications, has jumped in over at the .net side from, as we say, beautiful and cold and probably snowy Cheyenne, Wyoming. Nothing in yet. Hello to St. Paul, Minnesota. Auburn, California. I know, that's probably Rockland instead. Joining us up in the balcony. If you come in and work your way down the stairs into the green room, we have all sorts of goodies for you. SWL 36. Ken, have you checked in? I'm looking. A green room. What color is it now? I think it's got old wallpaper that's peeling off. So we may have to strip down the wallpaper, but that does make sense. If the green room isn't green, would that be an oxymoron? Or would that just be a moron? It depends who goes into the room. Ken, I see you. 36 is checked in. Thanks. SWL 37. What's the movie tonight? I'll put an X in the square. I have a feeling that Chris will be jumping in at some point. SWL 38. Sam in Byron, where we don't have any conditions for him to, like he likes to do, get a relay check-in from Australia. That's weird. It looks like my graphic is a little bit smaller. Maybe I'm bigger. Maybe that's what's happening. SWL 39. SWL 40.
SWL 40, checking in at a comfortable 56 degrees in Chinatown.
That's because there's probably no fires down the street keeping you warm. But it sounds good, and it sounds like you're doing better, and that's a good thing, and 40 has got the X in the square. Next, we go to shortwave listener 41, who just jumped in, a whole bunch of people. Hello to St. Paul, Minnesota, Ware Shoals, I can say that, South Carolina, and Concord, Mass, in that zero area code. We're 9s out here. We don't start with zeros. There's a 507 checking in. Yeah, sometimes, depending on where you're at, things are a little bit slower tonight, but I will look for you. Won't let you get out of whack here. The Orange County Reactor Corps from Hudson Valley, New York. Good evening, and have a great 2026 coming up. Next, we've got SWL 42. And Steve Areno, is that like a question we should answer? Like the question might be, how come they put an electrolytic cap on meters on a CB? Is that because they know you'd be pegging the meter and breaking it? Is that to do some type of ALC damping? I think the circuits are different than just a capacitor. I don't know. Like our meter up here on the above my head, that's a real thing. It's got a magnet. If you were to be able to look, down inside that thing, you would actually see a magnet and a needle. No digital stuff here. Let's go to SWL 43. Whether it has a capacitor in there, I don't know. SWL 44. Hey, Peter, I see you waving. SWL 45, hello, Paul and Kelly. We are going to, we put you guys in the archive, and so we'll be hearing from Paul tonight from like years ago. Assuming the archives come up. We had to transcribe them to these RCA disc things, and hopefully the player is working. Let's go to SWL 46. Shortwave listener 47. Probably a lot of people. What's going on TV tonight? What's the competition for OTR? I always know when at 10 o'clock rolls around at 9:30 or half hour, it's like people run in and say, oh, let's go to the radio room. SWL 48. It's that OTR thing is going. Sammy, I'll get Sammy checked in from Facebook. SWL 49. It's possible we could hear from 49 in the archives tonight. SWL 50. Somewhere out there in Battle Creek, Michigan. Well, can you do winter stuff, or is it snow? Here in central the Valley of California, you can actually do a winter garden. I don't know what the winter stuff would be, but there's no snow in our elevation. Let's go to SWL 51.
SWL 51 checking in.
5-1 sounding good from near Sangertown 305 with an X in the square, and a Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you too, Dennis.
And let me go back and reiterate. There we go. Checking in, checked in. If you look above my head, you will see the graphics. So if you were to be trying to check in, like SWL 50, it'll be checking in. And then if you're there, it will switch to checked in, so you know that I was paying attention. And doing what it is I get paid to do. Or maybe I don't get paid to do, but that's what I'm supposed to do. 50 is in, 51 is in. Let's go to SWL 52. From behind the golden microphonium, he might be in soon. SWL 53 checked in early. SWL 54 has a proxy check-in. Let's go up to SWL 55. Did I mention that you are possibly tuned and or listening to the Old Tube Radio Network here at 27085 Channel 11 in the Central Valley of California? Semmes, Alabama just joined us. Coming up through the balcony tonight. No radios required. You know, there aren't any numbers. You don't have to be on any. You don't have to be on any list to jump in here. The Old Tube Radio Network in our 40th year. Can you believe it? So what do they say? As they used to say in the 1960s, join us, won't you? SWL 56 just for kicks checked in early. SWL 57. SWL 58. I get a clandestine proxy cherry. Let's try that again. Take two. I would get a clandestine proxy check-in for Jeremy. That's what happens. Chet is saying, if you would just read the cue cards. He said, he's got it all written out over there. If I would just read the cue cards, I wouldn't have this problem. And you signed up for another year of this. It's a true glutton for punishment. Let's go over to SWL 59. And Uncle Hairball is right there with the X in the square, the checkity check. Over to SWL 60.
Hey, Dennis. Happy New Year. Late Merry Christmas there. SWL 60 checking in.
Checking in and doing a good job of checking in. We got the X in the square.
Thank you much, Dennis.
Checking my receive audio. I could turn down the... Maybe I'll do that. Hold on. I'm going to RF gain it a little bit so you don't get so much listening in, if you're listening in on a iPad or something like that, over the net, so it's not so wacky. SWL 61, Dino checked in early. SWL 62. Shortwave listener 63. SWL 64. And I'm checking my list that scrolls by ever so quickly. SWL 65. It's almost like I've done this before. I'm getting the hang of it. SWL 66. SWL 67. That takes us over to oldtuberadio.net, and I do believe I saw Bill checking in not too long ago from Canby, Oregon. So, Bill, if you're still listening in, here's the official. Let me make your check-in official. Yeah, if you ever get back into town here, bring a little walkie-talkie with Channel 11 on if you're in Saturdays. We'll check you in. Hello, Captain Robert. Wishing a happy new year and 40th anniversary. Starting to, sounds like the rehab is working out okay. We'll keep that up. We got a couple stations out there listening who are being troopers to do whatever the doctor says, the rehab thing, whatever you need to do over and over and over again. Whatever wacky pills you need to take or not take to make things better. I'm glad you can join us. Let's go to SWL 68. Shortwave listener 69, that's Kenny in Tulsa, who used to be sitting out here in his air chair in the Central Valley, joining us tonight via the digital world. Thank you, Kenny. Let's go up the hill to SWL 70.
Ryder, Dennis. Good evening, everybody. How you doing, Dennis? Good to hear you, man. Happy New Year. Over.
Yeah, so far kind of good. I think we're everything seems to be functioning here around the Radio Shack. You are sounding good as always. Hopefully you can hear me, and I put an X in the square. Your first one of possibly many.
Yeah, I've been all over the place lately. But yeah, good to hear you, man. I got you about S7, by the way.
Okay, I'm still working for, what did we say, you're 9 pounds, good modulation, Chestnut and Herndon or somewhere. But the band is pretty quiet, just a lot of static, but no skip land going on. So you are sounding good and your X is in the square. When I put it in the square. Let's head over to SWL 71. I am checking to see if Stan has jumped in from Dallas, Georgia. I didn't get on HF much. I was on, but I wasn't up in the contest land to see if there's contests going on. I think they sort of shy away from that stuff during the holidays, so look out next week. Let's go to SWL 72. Shortwave listener 73. Someone said get a check-in for John, which I will do. We've got a proxy check-in for Miss Jilly, SWL 74, over to SWL 75. SWL 76. It's Red Fox 1. He might have jumped in over at .net. SWL 77. Oh, thanks for the clarification there, Captain Robert. That's probably what I was referring to, but that's good. That is a good way to start out 2026. And yeah, that definitely, she's definitely a trooper, because you really have to keep up with doing that. You can't, it's like, I don't feel like it. No, let's try. Let's give it a try. So that's good. That's about the only way it's going to work, right? SWL 78 from Wild Wildemar. And Richard, I see you testing the waters over at .net. Yes, it is working. You're probably hearing stuff. And we're putting the X in the square. So if you're monitoring somewhere, let us know. And 40 meters went long early, like it does. But at 7,200 or where you might be, some of the stations out of California might pick you up. SWL 79. I know Mr. DC is out there. So I'm going to put an X on the square for 79. He might be listening on his personal media device. Captain say had to be a drill sergeant. Yeah, sometimes you have to do that. We can, have a few treats handy. Have a prize, at the end of the trail somehow. SWL 80. Means I get to turn the page again. SWL 81. We've got some Echolink contacts coming up, and I think there are some questions, thanks to Tony, which we will get at the break here. SWL 82. I think Ron said to check him in. He's been on a busy schedule. SWL 82, Ron is the voice of the Ditch Banks sideband net. Heard most every Friday evenings at 8 p.m. here in the Central Valley on 27,365. That's 36 lower. There's a visitor check-in spot. And it's a good way to check out your sideband radio. If you've got sideband on your old tube radio and it actually goes up to channel 36 by natural ways or trickery, check in up there. Otherwise, join us for some decompression on sideband. And who else is joining us? Ham Radio Lady. Thanks for tuning in the old Tube Radio Network. The Tube Radios are coming up soon. SWL 83, JZ, I see you. I think you checked in just about everywhere. JZ, of course, out of Sylvania, Ohio. I put the X in the square. Wait a minute. What is it? Virginia said no more parks on the air at state parks and rivers and lakes, fines and equipment forfeiture. So that's a state thing. So obviously you'd be able to jump into a non-state park. Oh, did somebody get hurt or fall off a cliff or something? Boy, I talked to a couple of activations last week. I don't know if I've got them down in the park, but that's not good. But I'm assuming, obviously, that's just for the state park. So there should be, hopefully, some places for people to go. All right, here comes the big quad thing here. SWL 84, SWL 86, 87, and 88. That, of course, in order is Jerry, Cheerios Kid, and the Mountain Maid, and Tandy Girl, and the Snowy Owl. We will be hearing, I think I've got some archived stuff from Jerry tonight, so we'll get into that. So you can hear some of the radios out that way, and sometimes you can hear Jerry on the noontime, Jefferson Noontime Net at 7204, running his classic tube. He runs Drake's, I think. Always good audio on that. Let's go to SWL 89, SWL 90, SWL 91. And I don't know if I missed Felix earlier. I went to the top of the page. Sometimes he jumps in early. But I will stand by with the X in the square ready. SWL 92. Shortwave listener 93.
93 STD checking in, Dennis. Hope everybody had a and happy, safe New Year.
I am sitting in the OTR air chair, which is about the safest place I can be, so I'm doing my part. You are sounding good as always. I think what we say in the ESSB world is mellifluousness, and thanks for jumping into the Old Tube Radio Network.
Appreciate it. Hope everybody has a good rest of the Saturday night.
We are going to try real hard. Thanks for jumping in. All right, so I have, who was it that said check DX maps? I've got a couple of them here. Let me jump over to the map. Now, that is, it doesn't look updated. I think that is not an updated version of the DX map. I've got another one here. Let me go over to that. And it's showing other frequencies. The one we're really looking for is right there. And see, it shows that the band is open. Shows there's stuff in Southern California and up through Montana, so it's just super quiet here. That is what we're looking at for the maximum usable frequency. But notice we're at that star. If you're looking at the video, where the star is in California, that's where we're at. And notice the purple is where the DX would be. So it's all right around us. Maybe that's where we're not hearing it, but it covers Idaho. So I don't know, maybe they're here in San Diego or something. So that's what it says. That doesn't, as we know, we've proven here, that doesn't actually represent what it means at the various moment, but we'll try it out. Page 4, radios are coming up. SWL 95. Um, 95. SWL 96. And UDX 347 out of Tennessee. Thanks, Dallas, for jumping in. So far, so good. The suit has not fallen apart. It's 2026, and it's still, the pocket protector still fits, so, things are good. SWL 97. 97 is right there checking in. He says, take a break, Chet. So there you go. Yeah, okay, you can, I've got it memorized. So yeah, if you want to put down the cue cards, I'll give you the X and the square. That could be him calling now, so grab the phone. Let's go to SWL 98. I think the full moon is tonight. It's some new July full moon, and it has a name. All of the moons have names. Tracy, I got you checked in. SWL 98. I didn't get a chance to look at all the promotional material today on Facebook, so I have to go back, because Tracy, they always come up with something. I don't know. It always knocks me off my air chair. It's like, how are they doing this? They're making me look better than I am, but they're promoting the Tube network. 98, 99. Hello, 99. Are you listening, Randy? Thank you, ham radio lady. It's the Wolf Moon. I knew that. I had looked at that before. We got a pink moon coming up and other blue moon, but it's the Wolf Moon. So if you see a wolf peeking behind the screen there, you know what's happening. All right, let's jump over to the Echo link. We've got a couple to fire up. All right, the Old Tube Radio Network. On the Echo link, let's start with Tony, SWL 100, and find out what's going on for the activation. KD4BAO, KB6GFD. Tony is in McClellanville, South Carolina.
Hey, good evening, Dennis. Good to hear you. Happy New Year. And back to, please check in SWL 100. Back to net control, KD4BAO.
Okay, copy that just fine. Echolink link is working. Tony, of course, our purveyor for TOTA, Tubes on the Air, that is legal in all states. And he will be firing up the filaments shortly. Thank you, Tony, for jumping in. KB6GFD. The Echolink link is up. Let's head over to Albert, and see what's going on up in the hills, if they're getting any wacky weather. KI6CBA from KB6GFD. And Tony's up in the Sparks, Reno. Or I'm sorry, Albert is up in the Sparks, Reno area. See if he's at the microphonium. Here he comes. All right.
Oh, there it is.
There it is.
Can you hear me? Let me make sure we're making connections.
We are connected, and I can hear you just fine. Take a transmission. Albert, over. This digital 21st century stuff, you know how it is.
Okay, there. Now I got it. I'm kind of listening to both the replay and the Echolink, and I'm going to knock off the video.
That'll get you confused.
It's getting cold up here. It's like 40 degrees. There's a little bit of snow here and there as you go up the mountain. But I don't know. You don't want to come up to Reno when it's really stormy, because it can be a closed road. And but it's just fun to be with the OTR crowd tonight and watching the radios come in. And it's fun to hear your voice, Dennis. And thank you for having us all there. And with that, I'll just say 73s and keep watching the show.
All right. Is somebody putting on a show around here? Well, maybe when the radio show up, they're kind of a parade, maybe. Sounding good, sir. Thanks for joining us. Stay warm and Happy New Year. Over. Okay, and there's still one more, and I want to make sure we jump in and get the other station here on the Echolink link and see if it's working. See if he's got the Neumann U87 up to the Echolink. Hello, Smitty, WB1G KB6GFD. Take a transmission. Over. See if we can do this. All right, here we go.
Well, hopefully I have gotten the bugs worked out here on the home QTH here, WB1G rocking tonight in Rockland. Testing out the backup internet system. Hi, I'm waving at you, by the way. I do see you as well. Using my backup internet tonight, so technically I just want to throw this out there. I am checking in via a satellite link to you, my friend.
The satellite is up and down. There isn't much delay, I guess, unless you're probably listening to the watching the video. So don't watch the video. It looks good. The audio is good. When you take another transmission, go ahead and you can give yourself an audio report on the REA meters. You're a good 125% asymmetrical modulation. Smitty and I chatted today on 40 meters when the band was doing good. He's one of the ESSB, West Coast ESSB guys that make sure that the SWLs have something nice to listen to, where they to be having the big speakers turned on. Anyway, thanks for joining us here on the Old Tube Radio Network. Back to you, and hope all is well. Over.
Well, I'll tell you what, Dennis, Happy New Year to you as well. I went ahead and, by the way, I can give a little bit more audio if I need to, but looking at the BEA, need glasses here, meters, yeah, that looks pretty good. At any rate, wanted to wish you a Happy New Year. Happy New Year to everybody and the OTR crew. And also, New Year's resolution, sir. Want to go on record? First broadcast of the new year. My New Year's resolution is to hang out a little bit more with the OTR crew. Back to you, Dennis. Have a great night.
Sounds like a good resolution. Your audio is great, so watch the replay and you'll say, wow, how do I sound better than the guy sitting in the microphone on the desk? 73 to you. Thanks for joining us. KB6GFD. All right, good stuff on the Echolink link, and I do believe there was a breaking station. OTR is listening.
SWL 37, Dennis.
All right, 37. I've got the page marked. There is it's like a hold. You know how they used to, you put you on hold and they press the button and it would flash. I see you have the hold button on 37. I'm going to press it and pick up the call.
Okay, well, I'm still here. I didn't realize I had other stuff on here. I just noticed it. The things were hitting too hard over this way. Anyway, there was too much going out. I didn't need that much, but yes, SWL 37, checking in first time this year.
First time this year, first time of many for 2026. You're sounding good. The X is in the square, and I think you've done it again, by Joe.
Ah, good. Well, you're sounding good, Dennis. And the other gentleman there, he was sounding good, too.
Yeah, that was Smitty up in Rockland via the satellite down through the Echo Link into my radio, out to your radio. How does this happen?
Well, I'll tell you what. It was sounding good. I mean, you know, it was in the strawberry field.
Well, he's a radio guy, so he knows, he knows what he's supposed to do. And then if it's not good, he'll just feel bad all day. So he's feeling good now. Thanks for the check-in.
All right, thank you for being there still. I'm going to get back to my movie here. I just dawned on me what time it was. So, all right, talk to you later, Dennis. Have a good evening.
All right, thank you so much. The Old Tube Radio Network, Real Radio is Glowing in the Dark. They're coming up. Directed net roll calls where we are at. Page 4 if you're playing the home game, SWL 102. Ready to check in from beautiful Scranton, Arkansas. John, I see you on the list there, waving a hand like a thing, from the Addams Family. Happy. That's what we need. We need a little box. The hand would come up and I'd say, "Where's my list?" And the little hand would come up and say, "No, thank you, little hand." But we can't. I'm sure that's all copyrighted, so we couldn't do that. 102 is in. Let's jump up to SWL 109.
Good evening, Dennis. Crawdad 109 checking in.
Crawdad 109 is beaconing down here into the flatlands of the valleys of Fresno and sounding good. Hope you are staying dry and having a great 2026. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, I'm doing my best to stay dry, and it's sure been a good year so far, and hopefully it stays that way.
It will stay that way. Thanks for jumping in. All right, while I'm on the list here, I just looked down and said, what happened to 103? And it's like, oh, he's right there. That's in between. Let's do the math. 102, 103, 104, and up it goes. All right, above my head is the SWL 103. And Joey's very good about jumping over to oldtuberadio.net, waving a hand from South Carolina. And, 2026 on our way. Also joining us on the video side as well. Tango Romeo 21 X-Ray. I think I said that correctly. All right, 103 is there, over. I think I've done that before. There is something, the way it is set up on my screen. I mean, 102 is next to 103. I don't know. And Chet is just, he's just pointing at the card. Did you want to show it? No, okay. If he was going to show it that you were actually there. That you're actually on the cue card. So, all right. My fault. Let's go to SWL 110. So that's why you stayed on for another year. You know I couldn't do it myself. It's going to take 41 years for me to figure this out. SWL 111 checked in early. I heard Robert on the stream and over the air, looking good. Over to SWL 113. SWL 114.
114 checking in.
SWL 114. Happy New Year, Wayne. Thanks for joining us yet again. Wayne is one of the people that is going to be wearing the 40-year pin this year. Thanks for joining us.
Happy New Year. Thank you for the check-in, Dennis.
Were there to be a 40-year pin? I may have got myself into trouble with that one. Let's go over to SWL 128. And John indeed checked in moments ago. John, one of the, Don't do that. I've got the open headphones here. One of the SWLs back in the day when Popular Electronics actually handed out numbers, shortwave listener cards and all that stuff. So that's pretty cool. I remembered that, but I didn't get one. But they exist, and John has one. Now he's also SWL 128, and he's checked in. Let's see, Whiskey Papa Echo 91 Charlie Mike is what I've got down here, and PE was the Popular Electronics, I believe, that put that out there. Let's head over to SWL 131. Shortwave listener 135.
My turn already? This is SWL 135 checking in. And according to my Canadian calendar, this is the Chief Moon. Back to you.
All right, depending on what part of the tundra you are on, Wolf Moon, Chief Moon. I think I heard the Wolf. I had a chart somewhere, and I thought it was Wolf Moon, Chief Moon. Well, you know, Canada, on that radio, Channel 8 is Channel 11, and things cost more or cost less depending on the exchange rate. So I believe that it could be any moon they want. Thanks for joining us, and we'll probably hear you in moments when we start glowing in the dark. Looking for SWL 137. SWL 145. I heard Tony earlier on the two-way. He had triggered the fusion for some weird reason. But I'm putting the X in the square. Tony, if you're listening, from up in the hills, we got you checked in. Michael, 5059, thanks. Thanks for the Happy New Year, and thanks for joining the Old Tube Radio Network. Real Radio's Going in the Dark. We're here at Channel 11. I'm going to be talking with the Tube Radios shortly. Neil, 147, checked in moments ago with reports of skip land all over the place. SWL 188.
Good evening time, Dennis. 188 checking in.
Oh, you're sounding loud tonight. Looking good, and I don't know if you've had any 2026 skip contacts yet.
No, just a little bit here and there. I've still been pretty busy around the house. Happy New Year, everybody out there in the band.
All right, likewise, sounding good, looking good, and your first check-in of many for 2026. Thanks. Then we go to 195. The Course Gold Starliner is in the house. And then Mr. Shockwave 226. And they're trying to get a sort of a local gathering group going with the stations here. I think that is a good idea. Were it to be done maybe once a month or something like that. I remember, even with OTR and some of the local stations here, we meet at the bowling alley and a couple of places occasionally. But that was long ago when we were first starting. So everything old is new again. Be nice to try that. Anybody I missed or anybody that would like to check in? The Old Tube Radio Network. I'm going to look for... There it is, the questions. I have not previously seen them. So we'll see if I can read them. No, who said that they missed the questions? No, you did not miss the questions. Here we go. Question, and these are courtesy thanks to Tony 145, who uses these on his Friday morning net. He's got the best questions. Okay, number one, what was the call sign of the amateur operator most often credited with developing the first commercially successful electronic gear? Oh, boy. Okay, so what was the call sign of the amateur operator most often credited with developing the first commercially successful electronic here. Successful, meaning there was some that weren't. Here are the answers. It's multiple choice. W4ZL, Whiskey 4 Zanzibar Lima, I like saying that. Or W9TO, Whiskey 9 Tango Oscar. Or was it W6AK, Whiskey 6 Alpha Kilo? Or was it K7 RV, Kilowatt 7 Romeo Victor? So we're looking for somebody that would be associated with the first successful electronic keyr, which is the device. I don't even think they're built into the radios now. But if you look at and this is I'm going to put a little a hint, a little clue in there. If you look at some of the keyrs that Collins put out, or E.F. Johnson, or Hallicrafters, where the box would put in, you put the keyr in it, you do your dots and dashes and all that stuff. So I kind of know this one because of there's a keyr actually named after the station. So it was W4ZL, A, B, W9TO, or C, W6AK, or DK7RV.
Can I guess?
You can guess. Go ahead, sir.
Well, I know of the TO keyr, so I'm going to go with that one.
All right, and we will take that as a very good clue, because I was talking about the keyrs, and I mentioned Collins, and I mentioned E.F. Johnson. I also mentioned Hallicrafters, which had the TO keyr. I could probably bring up a picture of it, and were I to do that, let me see, because you would like that, because the Hallicrafters TO keyr probably was housed in a cabinet similar to, here we go, similar to a radio that you actually have on your desk. So I'm going to bring up, okay, it's an eBay picture from somebody, so we'll try and give them credit. And it's actually, they're trying to sell it. So let me bring this up. If you're watching the video, here comes the correct answer, which was the B, which was TO. There is the keyr, a little box with the speed. It changes the speed of your key and the function that's low, high, and there's some Hallicrafters, and it's a TO keyr in honor of the W9TO station. And that looks an awful lot like the box they put their first 1959 CB radio into.
Yeah, I've got one. That's why when the second time you said W9TO, I went, I wonder if it's the Hallicrafters TO keyr. I've got one. They're very cool.
So like I said, I think most radios today don't need an external keyr, or the things are built in, or it wouldn't be something that you would do. I've never used one myself. I'm not a big CW guy. I'm still using my J38 key. But there you go. Good answer. And it's W9TO. That's, I'm sure, probably not probably a silent key. So good job for the correct answer. Let's go to number 2 so we get to the radios here. Answer, let's see, number 2. If a current, it's going to do some math here, pull out the slide rules. If a current of 1 ampere will cause a 1 ohm resistor to dissipate 1 watt. What is it, the 111 guy? Was that written by the 111 guy? If a current of 1 ampere will cause a 1 ohm resistor to dissipate 1 watt, how many watts will the resistor dissipate if a current of 2 amperes passes through it? I don't even know that. So this is 1 watt, current of 1 ampere causes 1 ohm resistance to dissipate 1 watt. How many watts will the resistor dissipate if the current of 2 amperes? So you're doubling the current. So here, we'll just go to the answer. The answer is 4 power. 4 power is equal to current squared times the resistance. Okay, so power is equal to current squared times the resistance. Well, they only gave us one part of that. Don't we need to do the other stuff? Are we still keeping... Well, we still have 1 ohm of resistance, right? The current squared would be 8 times the resistance, 1, so 4. Oh, I'm sorry, squared, not cubed. So yes, 2 squared is 4, times 1 is 4. Okay. I'm forgetting my maths. Sorry, Mrs. Boiniferous. I'm forgetting that 2 squared is 4. 4 times 1 is 4. All right, that's enough. That's enough math. That is way too much math for 2026. I will be back with your tube radios in just a moment. And Bill, I agree with you. 4 sounds good. Back in a moment. The old tube radio network. I do need that slide rule. All right, I'm going to live dangerously, and I'm going to reset for the tube audio. Number 1 is good. Counting down radio. Sometimes I don't even know if I'm on the right frequency. Oops. Why is that playing?
OTR.
Wait a minute, that shouldn't be happening.
27.05 megahertz.
Okay, sorry about that. That was a false that was a false start over here. Let me refresh that. Okay, much better. Okay, good. We are on the right update. So here we go. Stand by. All right, the updates have updated. You're listening to the old Tube Radio Network.
You may not find us on your TV because in case you did not know, we're being brought to you by
OTR.
Brought to you by
27.085 megahertz.
Brought to you by RADI.
The old Tube Radio Network.
Okay, your old Tube Radio Network. You know, sometimes radio has become complicated. The old radios has had a little crystal element in their microphonium or a carbon element, and here at the old Tube Radio Network, we've made it so complicated. It is really hard to change things around. I'm also like super way behind on my video. I don't know why it's doing that, so we'll let that refresh maybe, and say the old Tube Radio Network is listening for any and all radio check-ins. Over.
135, 135.
All right, 135, looking good. I'm doing a little bit of work so I can get my video picture back here, if it will work. And then restarting the video. Oh, wow, it says it's like 3 minutes. But I think we're good. All right. So over to you. I can tell that you have brought to the table, your table, a tube radio check-in, and that is what we need right now. Take a transmission and tell us what you got. Over.
You sure you don't want to wait for the video to refresh?
I think, well, it's only on my end. It's my QC video. So what is coming out to the ladies and gentlemen of the OTR jury should be correct.
Okie doke. Let's go for it then. Excuse me. Let's see. This is a radio from, as you may have guessed, from Laconia, New Hampshire, and this is this particular one is the Browning Eagle R27S23. Not the Golden Eagle, just the Eagle. It is in two pieces, or three if you count the microphone. Oh yeah, the microphone here is the banana mic, as people refer to it. So no amplified mic going on right now, because I thought it's really quiet out there. At least it is here, and I thought we'd go with a mellower microphone. There's 16 tubes. Yeah, there's 16 tubes, and all 23 channels. Crystal controlled transmit and the transmitter, and of course all 23 channels, plus all the stuff in between on the VFO on the receiver. Back to you.
Back to me in the studio. I think I have finagled a photo of said radio. It has an addition, which I don't think you have, which is the business band amplifier. And I'll see if we get another picture, because the first Eagle, as you mentioned, which indeed it is, does have an Eagle somewhere, and I think it is on the transmitter. Is that correct?
You are correct, sir. Yeah, in between the... I don't know what's going on tonight. It must be the weather. In between the channel selector and the on-the-air window light, which is very cool. I've always loved that thing. There is a circle with the profile of an eagle head. And it also says, on each unit, it does say, like Eagle R27 and Eagle S23, for all your Eagle needs and enjoyment.
But Juliet 6, Papa Delta.
Yeah, that's what they say. The new Browning Eagle, and they're advertising from 1964, the world's finest CB base station. It's only $360, and there is the silhouette of the Eagle right there.
Yeah, I thought I'd try a whirly one. The cool thing about the banana mic is it's very easy to manipulate. If I try stuff
Tony,
like this with a U-104, it's going to snap the head off. So these are actually kind of fun with these Brownings. If I had $1 for every one of those advertisements I read, trumpeting the finest greatest radio ever made by human beings for people, it's just crazy. I've just seen so many of those advertisements. The cutting edge of technology and the finest build quality of any CB receiver in the world. They do tend to go off the wire, but they're paid to do that, aren't they?
That is their job, to make it something that you need and that you have to have right now. And I don't know, because they have so many sold so many of these. Browning did a pretty decent job with advertising all the way around. And as we saw last week, in their photo from 1962, the 80 or 90 employees that actually worked in the building and received their Christmas bonus, and probably had a lot of pride in building that very radio that you have over.
Oh, I could imagine. I mean, let's face it, for Citizens Band, this is kind of overkill, but it really is very neat. There is the blinking light usually says mod or modulation, right? This one says audio. And then there's a spotlight all the way over to the right underneath the on-the-air light, and a nice bright amber. They included so many cool things on this. There's a switchable AGC and AVC. So they really kind of went over with this, but I understand it's a pretty popular radio.
It is a pretty popular radio. It had the Eagle ping. Some people mentioning that they remember, back in the day growing up when their father had a Browning radio and it made the Eagle ping. There is, it's not easy to do that. You got to have the squelch set right, the volume set right. It's not a tube that's making that sound. With the General Radio telephones, you had the Q-Bird or the tone signal. That is actually some circuitry inside the radio that's specifically set to do that, and you have to flip a switch. What's happening here, and I hate to use the word feedback because it sounds so plain, but that's what we're listening to. It was lovingly called a ping, but it is the receiver listening to the last vestiges or the beginning vestiges of the transmitter as the receiver capacitors sort of drain away. So you're actually listening to yourself. It's a good way to know that your transmitter's working, I guess.
Oh, yes, it is. Blue Thunder's coming over. I don't know if I had the D104, you could probably hear him. He's coming right overhead. Sorry, I cannot hear anything. So we'll let that pass, and I'll find out tonight, I guess, if that got on the air. But yeah, the ping is about feedback because of you described it perfectly, but I would describe it a little differently by saying it's a reasonably inefficient transmit-receive switchover circuit. But it is a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think it was a mistake, and somehow it became that thing. It's like, whoa, you paid. I can tell you paid $350 for your radio because it makes that sound. So there's a way to turn it off, as it were, by turning the volume down or adjusting the squelch. There's ways to make it longer by extending the ramp down time of the receiver as it loses its little power, I guess, when the transmitter comes on. There is different ways, different microphones, and I can tell, you are orchestrating yours, which sort of became a thing if you owned a Browning, that you could, whatever microphonium you had, you can maybe move it around, adjust it closer, far away from the speaker as you press the key. Back to you.
I didn't quite get as much whirligig as I wanted, but that's another thing you can do is spin it around this area of the speaker, and it goes yo 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 yo. So they're lots of fun. Anybody who's got Brownings knows that. They're just lots of fun. And thanks for letting me check it in. And hopefully we will see you next time.
Next time on the Old Tube Radio. That is the Browning Eagle. The prior Brownings were model numbers, 27, R27, S23. And this still has the model number, the R27, or I should say 2700. But this one is the R27. That's R for the receive unit. The S23 is the S for the sending unit. If you are looking at any of the photos on either .net or the Facebook page, the top unit is the transmitter. That's the smaller of the two. It's full 23 channels. It's all crystal controlled as it needed to be by the FCC, and that's why it commands a price, because it had all 23 channels. It's got an S meter, and the below is a tunable receiver, not using crystals. Didn't have to, but that gave you all the channels and even the in-between RC channels and some other things as well. You can tell it's in a nice front throw speaker, and the S meter is mounted on that. And I believe, just before you go, I see there's two. Our picture isn't very good, unfortunately, with this, but there's two windows on the receiver, one to the left and one to the right. So I know one was giving you the channel number, and I can't remember if the other one is giving you the frequency. Is that right?
That is precisely correct. Yeah, to the left, I am currently looking at channel 11, and if you go to the right of that knob, it says 27.085, letting me know that I am on channel 11. and of course it has that for all the channels. I'm not sure if the RC channel there lines up to a frequency. Let's see. If I change it, I'm not gonna hear you. Is 095 anything?
Yeah, 095 is above this. That is an RC channel.
Go ahead, Harvey.
Were you going to wait on something, Cliff, or not?
Huh? What? Huh?
To mention something.
Oh, yeah. I was waiting for your confirmation.
I did that when I was 16. But anyway, just go ahead. You sound good.
Okay. This theoretically at this point is going to be going to somebody else. I'm going to be starting a fire sale clearance to thin the herd, as it were. That was pretty much it.
All right. Well, we will in future episodes keep the post up and have more information. But the seed has been planted. The thought has been expressed, and we will find out more. So it's nice that we're hearing them now. That's all I can say.
Yeah, Harvey, hopefully tomorrow we can discuss a whole lot more about it.
Yeah. You will have a list, and I will have a copy of it.
All right, thanks for radio number one, the Browning Eagle, their first radio from 1964. Separate transmitter, separate receiver, listed for, what was the said, $359, quite advanced. As they said, the most modern base station you can buy. I'm sure the Tram and Demco might have had something to say about that. Thanks for bringing it by.
14.
All right, I hear you out there. I wanted to get my screen back to where it needs to be because I do need to check in. SWL52. And Aaron, I don't know. I had 4 connections earlier, and we picked up all of them. So I wonder if something broke on my link up here. I guess I could kind of undo it and do it. But there's actually a couple stations still on there, but it will allow more than just the 2 connections on the Echo link. So 52. There we go. You know, everything is slow too. There's a lot of slowness in the net, but eventually it gets there. So 52, you are checked in. Over. Okay, and now things are good. I'm going to go to the Jingle Singers, and then I think. Did we have a check-in? You know that OTR is your favorite place to be on a Saturday.
How do you do? Ladies and gentlemen, greetings to you. Wherever you are, your favorite slot on the dial by far is known to you as
OTR, the Old Tube Radio Network.
The station for you is
OTR.
14.
All right, thank you, sir. I think I've reset everything here. 14, you are sounding good. Back to the control room. We are beaconing out to Sangertown, and you are sounding very loud. So there's going to be no problem in making this contact. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, excellent. I wanted to say that Cliff was making an excellent trip out here to Sanger tonight, and I am on my Buddy RC and TX 11B with a Turner +3 microphone, And I know that Harvey had made a comment, this is a different kind of receive, and maybe it's because it's quiet this evening, but I switched over to my Cobra 2000, and I could not hear Cliff as well as I can hear him on the Buddy bass. So that was a real delight to hear him on his Browning out here in Sanger this evening. I've got the large speaker with on-the-air lamp illuminated, so hopefully I am still making a good trip out there to you.
You're making a great trip, and that's a good testament to these radios. I've heard people say that they will go to dial up their $1,000 ham rigs and dial up the receive on the CB band, and then they'll jump to their like the R2700 receiver from Browning, and they said the Browning receiver is better than my highfalutin ham radio. So there is something to be said about gain stages with vacuum tubes and not having solid-state power supplies generating noise and maybe hand-wired circuits. I don't know. There is something when you start adding all these little stages and factors together that can make a difference when somebody's close to the noise floor over.
Yeah, that's for sure. I think that maybe even noise blankers and other things like that when they're down low close to that floor, it kind of takes away from it. But yeah, the old Buddy bass is a real pleasure. I really am picky about the way these radios sound, and this one has a great receive. I can sit here and listen to it and enjoy it. And like I said, it really makes the program great when I can hear everybody out there on their tube radios. So great conditions this evening, and you're sounding really good out here as well. That's what I wanted to say. So my Buddy bass, the transmitter has a fan modification on it. It draws the air through it to keep the transmitter cool, and it also has a toggle switch on the back that Harvey has that makes it go to high power, which I lose some audio, and low power is obviously what I prefer to run it on, which is what you're hearing me on now.
A good choice. Same thing with strapping. I think that's the word we used to use. Strapping the radio for the general radio telephone. Same thing. You get more output, but you lose that headroom on the audio. You lose a little bit of volume, I guess, or gain is what we would say. So it's good all the way around. Plus, you've got plate modulation to start with. I want to go to, where is the close-up? No, that didn't update. That's weird. But you talked about the cooling on the transmitter, and the way we're showing the picture, there's the on-the-air speaker sitting on top. I know this isn't your setup, but sitting on top of the transmitter receiver nested there. Receivers on the right, transmitters on the left. But that's something to think about. If you're putting one of these radios into a very snug shelf, notice the convection cooling heat rises. They have ways for the air to come in the back or wherever and rise out the top. So if you are restricting the top of the radio a little bit, you could have cooling problems, or just setting something on top of wherever the vents are. So keep the vents clear, and otherwise you can do what Sean's got, is have some type of fan going on. So I don't hear the fan noise. If it's noisy or if it's making any noise, it's not coming through at all. It's just your good audio over.
No, it's a quiet little fan. It's a Yaesu. My DAC 10 has the same fan on it as well. So nice, quiet little fan. And I know this thing has a modified tube in the transmitter. It's gigantic, and it has, you can clearly see the top of it and the little alligator clip thing that attaches to it as well. So kind of a hot-rodded transmitter. Harvey says it'll cruise all day long when you put these more powerful tubes in it. So other than that, pretty stock radio. And Harvey also put a red lamp in my transmitter and a green one in my receiver.
Nice. That sounds very, very Christmassy that way. And okay, you have one of the coveted modifications, and that's why a lot of the audio guys liked that radio, because what you would do, and I think it's a 6L6, which if you are on the old tube radio page The glowing tube at oldtuberadio.net is a 6L6, and I believe that's the same tube. So it's a larger tube, and I can't remember if you had to modify the case or it's vertical or horizontal. But yeah, you've got the big beefy audio modification that a lot of people liked to do if they could, and it definitely shows. You're getting a lot of good comments on the people listening and tuning in and saying, "Wow." That is a CB radio. If you're listening on the stream or the YouTube video, you are hearing exactly what I'm hearing. I'm taking the audio directly from the receiver, not miking it, but taking it directly out in through whatever sound cards without hardly any processing and compression at all, and it's coming back out full wide, even in stereo maybe. I don't know. To see if your stereo light comes on, and that's the way it sounds. And Sean, of course, is not down the street, even though he sounds like he is. You take a look at the S meter, it's like, that's only an S7, come on. But that's what happens when you have properly modulated asymmetrical audio. Good stuff. Back to you.
Yeah, definitely a little bit of a trip, and I'm glad that I was able to acquire this radio. Thanks again to Phil for giving me the opportunity to have the coveted Buddy Bass. And thank you for giving me the forum and the time tonight to let everybody get a taste of how it sounds out there. So thanks again for the time for the Buddy Bass, Dennis.
Looking good, sounding good. Nice that you can occasionally get that on-the-air light to fire up. That's a big kick right there, is seeing the on-the-air lights. I worked in television and radio studios, and you wait, you prep for the program, you prep for the show, and then all of a sudden it's 3, 2, 1. The big red on-the-air light is on, and it's time for the performance. And you have done well. We'll be tuning in next week. Thanks for radio number 2 from Buddy Bass, the TX11B, and that's our second transmitter. It's very unusual. I mean, most radios today are in one-box transceivers. Back in the old days, back in the day, you had, and it was supposed to be simple, right? You had to put these things together. You had 3 boxes, tie them in, have a connecting cable, and they still work. They still work today. Thanks for bringing it by. And I wanted to jump in and say hello if I didn't, and officially check in SWL 16, Charlie. And like I mentioned before, thanks, Charlie, for he signed up again for another year in the OTR studios, probably against someone's better judgment. But we will look forward to you helping out as you do to keep things running here. You're listening to the Old Tube Radio Network. Real radio's glowing in the dark. The jingle singers say this is the place to be. This is the latest in technology, and we'll be back for your check-ins. And Van Man, did I get you checked in? Well, I got you checked in now. Thanks for listening.
You're listening in the latest style.
27.085 megahertz. Channel 11, Old Tube Radio.
In wonderful
Fresno, California.
Yeah, it's wonderful, Fresno, California. It's 2026. We've been doing this since 1986, starting our 40th year. And we weren't always doing the digital video stuff and the digital audio stuff. But we do have some archives. Let me pull one of them out. I'm going to pull a couple out before we go here. What's coming up now is... let me get my chart here. I'm not trying to ruin anything. This is from this is from February 23rd of 2013, and it's Rob on. Let me start. I believe he's on. This is SWL3 on a general radio telephone. Let me make sure that I've got the right thing queued up. Here we go. See if we get some audio here.
It kind of looks like if the E.F. Johnson was a loaf of bread, this is sort of the loaf
so that's
of
your
pumpkin
playback.
Bread radio. Over.
All right. Well, did you get a chance to, I know you pulled up the picture, but look at the website. There is it's actually a JPEG image, but if you click on the image, it'll actually pull up a 4-page brochure for the VS2. Yes, indeed. Actually, that's a good shot to put up for the story I have for you.
All right, he's going to be telling us some story.
A few weeks ago, I got an email from I guess you can call it a young lady, and she asked if I'd be interested in a copy of a 4-page brochure, color brochure that she had from General Radio Telephone. And I go, why, of course. So in communication with her, she went and photocopied it in color, mailed it to me. I scanned it in and put it up here. But as the story goes, the lady I got it from, her name was Sharon. And if you look at the front cover of that page, in the upper right-hand corner, you'll see the model sitting there at the desk holding a notepad and talking on the VS2. That is Sharon. She worked for General Radio Telephone for a couple of years while she was in high school, and she tells a story about how she came in on a Saturday to take pictures for this particular brochure. Over.
That's sort of like having the infamous Sun-Made Raisin Queen or Raisin Girl on the front of the box, or Betty Crocker or something, showing up. So not only do we have the General VS2 advertisement from Sharon. Sharon is actually, I see her right up there in the top right-hand portion on perhaps the VS2.
Yeah, that brochure's from 1962. I guess the VS2 was introduced in 62 and sold in 63, somewhere around there. And but it was a very delightful surprise that I got when I opened that email. But yeah, she had mentioned that she was like the secretary or assistant for Charles Messenger, and she mentioned another name. I'd have to look at the email, but I remember Charles Messenger, and so hopefully, maybe she's listening. I see there's a listener from Burbank. Maybe that's her. I'm not sure where she's from, but I guess I could look at the return address. But anyway, we were very thankful to her. I've sent her emails about it and thanking her for it. So anyway, that's the big surprise.
So there you are. These people do exist. General Radio Telephone on their brochure from 1962. And back in 2013, when we were on doing our thing, Rob got a letter from someone on that brochure that was listening in and saying, hey, we really did this stuff. Now, I don't see Burbank on the list. I wonder if she's still listening. And what else we got in the archives? Let's go back to, let's see. Let's go back to 2012. So this will be May of 2012. And just to prove that I don't always sit in the air chair, here's SWL7.
Oh, see, the Shakespeare, what got me? What was the number on that again?
He's doing net control.
740. And I just noted now, this one is a 40 channel as well. Very, very much copycat of the Colt. I just noticed that I'm missing half an LED digit off my channel's 11 indicator.
Uh-oh, the LED vanishing. That can kind of throw a screw into things at certain points.
Yeah, well, it says I'm at about 1.5.
Well, it sounds good here, and that's all that really matters.
And that was SWL7 Ed in the net control chair back in May of 2012, and he's talking to Phil, SWL56, on his Shakespeare radio. Back live and direct here in 2026. Checking in your radios, your check-ins, and here is one right here. Let's go to SWL23 Skidoo, jumping into the house here. Is this the 50th anniversary of the 40-channel band expansion? I don't know. January 1st, 1976, the 23-channel band plan became a part of radio history. So that's right. It was 1976, and what was weird about it, the FCC says you can no longer sell the 23-channel radios, or they knew that they would trying to phase them out. So anybody remember going into Sears Roebuck in 1976, and they had stacks of the Road Talkers, and they were, I think, like $39. They just had to get rid of them, because otherwise, if they weren't sold by a certain date, they would be illegal to sell. But I remember that. But thanks 23. January 1st, 1976, 23-channel band plan became a part of radio history. How many old tube radios had 40 channels from the factory? Not many of the tube ones, that's for sure. Got another flashback. Let's go to Paul. I've got a couple from him, and you haven't heard him in a while. That's SWL 25. Paul has a big collection, and a lot of the times when we see one of the radios, especially the general radio telephone, I think he's got every single one. We will be looking at Paul's collection. So here is Paul from June 27th of 2015, and I believe he is going to be on an MC8.
Yeah, Dennis, I'm going to try it. Hope I get this thing in. My general radio telephone, Super MC8.
All right, picture of the Super MC8 from General Radio Telephone. Give us a transmission on radio number 2.
Yeah, okay, well, that's the radio. That's the mic and everything on the thing. I'll run through it real fast and let you finish it up. I get it made in about 1964, between 1964 and 1965 in that area. It has 9 tubes in it, clamp type modulation, and this radio has a stock ceramic General BSM microphone on it. 24-channel turbo tuner with the 26.620 MC for the Civil Air Patrol in the radio. Interesting about that. I guess they get by with everything like that for the Civil Air Patrol. Anyway, it's much like the MC7, but they put a facelift on the thing, and that's about it. Yeah, so far you're sounding super, Dennis. I hope it stays that way. We know it won't, but anyway. I'll tell you about this has a reasonable tube in it. That 6AL11 is reasonable. They got quite a number of those things in there. And when we had the big change on the MC9, which hopefully I'm going to check my end later on if we can get it clear in it yet. Thanks a million.
And that is Paul, the Falcon from 2015, checking in on his MC8. We haven't had an MC8 in a while. There weren't that many around in town. And like I said, I think Paul had just about every general radio telephone in his stack of radios. And Paul, if you're out there listening, we miss you, but thanks for all the great check-ins for the last 40 years. You're listening to the Old Tube Radio Network, Real Radio's Glowing in the Dark. Of course, the Jingle Singers have been with us for quite some time, letting us know the magic of the tube radios and all the things that happen here on a Saturday evening.
What are the magic numbers?
27.085 megahertz, channel 11.
Are the magic letters?
OTR.
Right here in
Fresno, California.
Radio Magic.
Old Tube Radio.
For you.
And we are listening for any and all check-ins before we sign out tonight. Back to the control room. Harvey, I'm surprised we didn't have a, well, we could have had, because there are many archival items from yourself, but I wanted to feature a couple of stations that we haven't heard in a while, or maybe some that we won't hear in a while, coming up on the radio. So 20, go ahead, you're sounding good.
Okay, check in my Golden Beagle by Browning Laboratories. And then I've got something else to talk about.
All right, I'll put up a shot if anyone is not familiar. We had the set of Brownings prior to that. That's the Eagle. That was the R27S23 from about 1964 to 1966. And then there was, Gar Green. Is that the guy from Browning said, we need to update this. We need the Golden Eagle. And so that said, the R27 or the the R68 T68. I'm going to make it. I'm going to make it at 10 o'clock. R68 T68 was born, and it's sounding good. So take a transmission and tell us more. Over.
Okay. Yes, it is. Okay, as Cliff mentioned, he's going to have a list. I'm going to pick it up, so I'll have the list. A lot of people have my phone number, so after tomorrow afternoon, I should have the list, and that'll be of radios. And the list may change, because that's up to him. But, as he said, thinning out the herd, he's got several different herds. Let's try a collection of Zenith transoceanic radios. Now, I know it's not CB, but Zenith transoceanic. If you're not, and those are receivers, multi-band, and he's got the tube ones, and they work, I think almost all of them, and he's got the transistor ones, a collection. Okay. So if you look that up, let's say on eBay, what's a Zenith transoceanic? Several models, and you can see what they are. Okay. And, he plays electric guitar. He's got a bunch of them. And I don't know the models, etc., but if somebody plays electric guitar and might be looking for something, he'll come up with a list of what he's got that he'll be parting with that herd. So he's got several herds. He's a big rancher, and he's thinning out many herds. Anyway, there we go. And I'll turn it back to you, Dennis.
All right. Well, I heard about the herds, so we'll find out more about that in future episodes. And like I said, we don't want to overload you with too much stuff because you're still recuperating, and they still beat you up at the at the salt mine. So that's we don't want to do the same thing to you. Over.
You got that right, bud. You do what you do when you can still do it.
That's why we are still doing OTR. I was trying to find a picture of some of the early OTR stuff where, Rob or myself or Jim or Kevin were sitting in the air chair. And they are few and far between. Just nobody had phones with cameras. Nobody just was carrying a camera around. There wasn't computers sitting in the control room. So it was a different time, and we've sort of morphed all the way through that.
Well, I'll tell you what, one of the best things was the CB breaks where you took an old tube radio. I mean, this is back in the day. When you took an old tube radio that you kind of didn't want anymore or didn't work or whatever, and you had the old tube radio toss. Remember that?
Yeah, now I should have brought them out. I do have pictures. Maybe next week I've got some photos from the picnics we had in the late 80s with the tube radio toss and some other things. We even made, you know what it is? I remember somebody brought a Collins, and it was like a 32 V2 or V3, and we set up a big stick. So we had this nice big tube Collins radio. All right, we won't talk about Class D or not. And, of course, that was those were made when 11 meters was that other 11 meters. And we made a lot of contacts sitting in the little covered area at the picnic. So we actually did make some contacts on some tube radio. So fun times. Anyway, we got your radio checked in, and many of us are all delighted to be sitting here 40 years later. Over.
Hey, 40 years later, I'm glad to be anywhere above ground. You know, instead of at a picnic now, instead of the old tube radio toss, since you're going to, toss it, should be an old tube radio giveaway. Big old table. Instead of tossing it, hey, you want this for parts? There it is. Because somebody might go, you know, I need that part to make my identical radio work. And instead of tossing it, you just give it to somebody. But anyway, okay, I'll turn it back to you. I'm going to go rest, and we'll do it again next week. Okay?
Okay. Who was it used to say that? Dennis James. All right, in your honor, I've got another archive here, and this will be from, let me make sure I get the right one here. This is going to be from April of 2014, so almost 11 years ago, and it's Jerry, Cheerios Kid, on a radio I'm sure you will recognize about 11 years ago.
The Tube Radio list for April 5th, 2014 is now ready to go, and the Old Tube Radio Network listening for any and all check-ins, especially those radios.
84.
Wait, hello, 84.
Hello. I need to turn this volume down just a little bit there, and ping was getting a little bit too annoying there. Maybe that'll be a little bit better. But I think we're going to try to check in the old Golden Eagle, the Browning Golden Eagle R68 and the T68 with a non-amplified D104M. And we look like we're doing right at 5+ watts there, so it should be making a trip as long as the skip land doesn't wipe me out there. Roger. There, that's the way I like the ping. What's kind of strange here, because I've got the volume control on the T68 just about halfway, and I noticed, it's been a few weeks ago, maybe about a month ago, it was all the way counterclockwise, which meant minimal audio gain. And what had happened was the little set screw was loose. so when I would turn it, nothing was happening, and I thought, oh shoot, let me see if I can figure it out. Well, anyway, put a long story short, the Browning 23S9 now doesn't have an audio gain on it, so the same microphone acted totally different. It's very, very strong on the 23S9, but on this one here, it wasn't near what I thought it was supposed to be. But for all that long time, I didn't know that set screw was just loose enough. It wasn't sloppy, but it just wasn't making good contact. But anyway, I like to refer this to the Browning Golden Eagle Mark Nothing. That's what I used to call it. Roger.
Yeah, the Mark Nothing, but works pretty good. And thanks for bringing by radio number 1 tonight.
Well, I appreciate it, Dennis. Yeah, the RF gain adjustment there is really has a 3-position switch there: distant and normal is where I have it now, and local. So that's pretty much it. I mean, other than the volume control, and you have a manual and fixed knob there, adjustments, but then it's got your fine tune and stuff like that. So back in the day, I guess this was pretty fancy. But you know what I've noticed, and for a long time, even with everybody else, on the tube radios, is that when you get everything tuned up right, or the right mic, it might take a little while to do it, but I'll tell you what, these old tube radios, the place modulation, didn't matter if they were Robbins or whatever they were, they all sounded pretty good. I mean, it's hard to beat them. But anyway, Dennis, good show tonight, and we'll be standing by.
Now, what I like about that archive, that's back from the summer of 2014. So we are actually in the other sunspot cycle. We're in the middle of cycle 24. It's 11 years ago. So the sun is just setting here on the West Coast, and it's first radio of the evening, so it's after 9 o'clock, and you can hear that Jerry is fighting to get over the skip. So I guess some things never change. Doing some counting and mounting, jumping in, just checking for any other stations to check in here local on 2026. You don't want to get too much of a time warp going on. All right, a few more and then we'll go. I wanted to get one more in from Paul because we missed Paul. So I think on this one we're going to go back to 2014, the end of the year, and he's probably got another one of his collections from General Radio Telephone.
45. Hello, Paul. Can you hear Old Tube Radio Network? Over.
Yeah, okay. Haven't checked one of these in a long time, as my other one's transformer blew on them. Anyway, this is an MC3 General Radio Telephone.
And we haven't heard many of those tonight, so we will get that one dialed in. Let me see. Right, not a VS, it's an MC3, over?
MC3, yes, that's correct.
It is certainly been fixed, over.
Okay, yeah. Audio is well. It's electric voice, 715 ceramic mic, and that's a checkerboard mic. It actually, General Radio Telephone got their name on it, but it was an electric voice, 715 ceramic. Yeah, this radio was the first one that came out with a local distance switch on the thing. And it really makes a difference on it, I'll tell you for sure. And of course, this has a tone signal on it. And I'll have to tell you a little tone before I get off.
Master Control MC3, we'll go back to you and see how that tone signal is working.
Yeah, before I get the tone on, this does not have an external crystal on it. My other one does. So leave the General Radio Telephone to switch them, in midstream. And, they started making them in 1958. So I would say, I guess, maybe your idea is good as mine, probably about 60 when they came out with the MC3. Okay, here's the tone signal.
Oh, yeah, that is the classic General Radio Telephone Tweety Bird.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dennis. Boy, it's nice to be able to talk to you again. Okay, talk to you later.
All right, we are back in the present, 2026, January 3rd, traveling back from 2012 and 13 and 14. Hello, Joe. Just pinch yourself and make sure you're live and direct here.
Thank you, Dennis. Doggone, it's good to hear Paul out there for sure. Some of the Residios and the fellow just before that, very interesting. For 26, Dennis, for this year, 2026, I'd like to check in my, from Waukesha, Minnesota, my 223.
Messenger 223 is a good thing. And I actually found the picture I've been looking for. It got misfiled, but we have one of our listeners that sent me a super great looking shot of the Mustang 2. And I couldn't for the life of me figure out what I did with it, but I actually found that. So if the Mustang 2 is going to show up before we leave tonight, I will have a much, much better picture that I've been showing in prior weeks. But take another, before you go check another radios, take a transmission on the E.F. Johnson 223, over.
Roger D. there, Dennis, 10-2. Well-lit radio. Always a lot of fun. It's not one that you got to worry about this or that, push this and subtract this and add this. You got yourself a nice little radio, simple little radio for a beginner, a good talking little radio, and a very dependable little radio. 10 tubes, all 23 channels.
That's the way they liked it. That was their top-of-the-line base station. Their last, not their only tube radio, but their last tube radio back in the late 60s and 70s. They were produced in the solid-state stuff for your mobile, but this was such a good little workstation that didn't make sense to get rid of it. So make sure you sell them all, and they will be out transmitting and parading around in 2026. Always sounds good, and glad you have it in the collection.
Thank you much, there, Dennis. Sure appreciate it there. Let me get that Phantom hooked up. I'm kind of interested to hear what you got to say on that one.
Okay, will do. And while you do that, I think I got one last archive here. Where are we going? This is from this is an older one, 2026. So we're still only 10 years away. And I wanted to put this on because a lot of people knew Mark. He was always checking in. He is a silent key now, but this will be Mark, and to keep the Golden Eagles running, I think he's going to be on. We did the Eagle tonight, the Golden Eagle, and here comes Mark on his Mark III.
The Break OTR, that sounds Tubi. Go ahead.
50 checking in. We're going to check in the Golden Eagle Mark III.
Well, we haven't had one until now, so give us a transmission, and it is screaming and it is loud.
Yeah, probably a little bit. Anyway, Golden Eagle Mark III sideband, stock light, Bananarama.
Give us another key down. You are Radio 7.
Lucky number 7. Anyway, that's about it for this brown monster here. I check in the trim, but I think I got to take it to the doctor here.
There you go, Mr. Monkey's Uncle Mark. I like the way that Browning makes the pattern on the scope. And talking about taking the tram to the doctor back when we still had Red Monkey Communications, that was a place to go here in town. Take your radio in. They kept us. They kept our tube radio operators on the air, ready for Saturday night, making sure the radios were looking good. So, Joe, if you're ready, I'm listening.
Yeah, Dennis, we sure are, and we are kind of anxious to hear what you got there. I have a little trouble every now and then trying to find something out about this Mustang 2. I can't get information like the way you probably can. I try, but this is a little difficult finding this information on this one.
Well, what I have, what I thought I had, and I did have it here. No, I'm not finding it. Was a very good. Here we go. A very good shot. I'm gonna see if it'll let me. No, I have to do it that way. Of course. It doesn't work as well when I do it. So, how am I going to do this? It was working before. Anyway, take a transmission on the Mustang too.
Yeah, Dennis. We got 7 tubes on this end. Nice little radio. I mean, fits between 2 of my radios here, just like a wallet, just like you're wearing a glove. It's a Mustang 2 from Metrotech, 7 tubes. It's got a few channels in it. I think we went over them one time before, but it's kind of dark in here, so I'm a little hard reading the list. But the knob system on the Mustang 2 is nice compared to from World Radio Labs. On the Mustang 2, they're horizontal. They're all horizontal, looking right at you. It has a little indicator light on it to let you know you're broadcasting. And it has your volume, your squelch, and a couple other things there, and a slot there for a crystal. But that's about all we know about it. Where she comes from or whatever, I don't know.
Okay, well, this is the best I can. I finally got the picture. This is from, there it is, Mustang 2. So if you're watching the replay, this is such a great picture because we had the last one. There's your channel selector, the crystal control. You can see the crystal socket to put that in. Boy, that S meter is there. It ain't very big, is it? You got your volume control, the squelch control. These are the original knobs. This is a perfect example of a radio that has been sitting in the same position for a long time, and there's the Metrotech logo and the tune control that looks like it's right on channel 11. Over.
Well, Dennis, doggone it, when I really get to looking at the little radios, it's a nice little radio. Some you probably could place in the kitchen on top of the refrigerator there, in pastime to just listen to people talk and whatever. Occasionally, maybe key it up and interrupt a conversation or something. But a nice little radio. It has what it needs to operate, and it's this one here is all original, down to the stock mic with the white cord coming right off the left side of the radio.
That is exactly what we're showing. It's got the hardwired microphone, the cream-colored microphoniums on top of the radio. The one we were showing previously was so bad, it always looked like it was yellow, like it was taxi cab yellow. Where now, with this radio, it's more of a muted, somebody said appropriately, a peach color. So is that what you would... The radio is not yellow, it's more of a peachy color?
Yeah, creamy color of some kind. I'm always puzzled by it because most of the time I'm in the dark here. But when I get a really, really good close-up of it, the casing on it is white around the meter area and the speaker, because it's divided into two colors. The lower part of it is white, and the part of it is, well, like you say, maybe it's not yellow, sort of like a peach color.
All right. Well, I'm glad I finally found the picture I had been looking for, and thanks. Sorry it took me so long to figure out where I put it. So, and I know you got the radio, and if 69 is watching, he will enjoy that too. All right, you've got radio number 4, actually radio number 5 with the Mustang 2. Thanks for pulling that back out.
Well, thank you, Dennis, for allowing me to check this one in. Real pleasure there.
Hey, Joe.
Yes, sir.
Did you give that radio a name?
We're going to call it Harvey.
Call it Sally. Mustang Sally.
You know, that's a good one. In fact, I think I'll write that on top of the radio. How about that?
What about Mustang Ranch?
Another good one.
Oh, that's where Sally's at.
I think only the jingle singers can save us now.
You're tuned to
OTR. Channel 11.
right here in
Fresno, California.
Stay with us
Old Tube Radio.
and be modern.
Isn't Sally one of the jingle singers?
I met them. We got a lot of Sallys in there. All right, let me jump out before we get banned for forever, and we can't continue with 2026 here.
Ladies and gentlemen, time now for the current OTR totals.
And I've pretty much broken everything tonight, so I can't go much farther. All right, I think we got all the lights on. 2026, the Old Tube Radio Network. Thanks everybody. We'll try and keep this ship afloat for a while, if at all possible. But you can see that we've been doing it a long time. A lot of people coming through with great collections, great knowledge of things. It was really good to find that archive of the person actually working for General Radio Telephone and say, hey, that's me. They took the picture of me and put it on the brochure in 1962. So if you're listening, drop us a line. Send us some more good stuff. Schenectady, New York is joining it. It is late where you're at. And we're about ready to sign off, but there's going to be plenty of food. So come on down to the green room for the after hours OTR. Checking in tonight, 23 on page 1, 17 on page 2, 13 on page 3 and 22 on page 4 for a total of 75. If my math is good, it's a lot better than it was when I was trying to take the square root of 2 and multiply by 1. I think I got that. I think I finally got that right. Radios tonight, we had a couple of Brownings. A lot of check-in from long ago. Anyway, started with the Browning Eagle R27S23. Thank you, Cliff. We'll be finding out more about what is going on with the good stuff that you have there. Also, radio number 2, Sean out in Sanger, the Buddy Bass TX11B, RC11B. For the Buddy fans, that is indeed one of the coveted 6L6 modified radios that probably you may have wanted and never could find. Or you got one and never could find somebody to do the mod correctly. Obviously, you can hear the sound. His is done the right way. Radio number 3, Harvey was on the Browning Golden Beagle R68T68, kind of a popular radio tonight. E.F. Johnson, Messenger 223 moments ago from Joe. And then finally, I was able to procure the beautiful photo sent to Old Tube Radio by Robert, which I promptly lost or misfiled, and finally picked that up. So thanks, Joe, for bringing out the Mustang too, so we could put the picture with the radio. I'm timing everything out. Good night, everybody. The Old Tube Radio Network, Real Radio's Glowing in the Dark, starting our 40th year. If the suit still fits, I guess I will wear it for a little bit more. 73, everybody. Get on the air wherever you are. You're thinking about upgrading to the amateur radio band. I will personally attest it is a lot of fun. If you are upgrading the license, we'd like to catch you out. Oh, who did I talk to? It was I'm blanking. I had a note to mention that I talked to him before on gosh, I don't know what, I don't have my log with me. I'm checking my pseudo log. Oh, I know what I can do. I can do that. I'm going to stay keyed up here because this is an important thing, and it's always fun when you're chatting and then someone recognizes the voice or you recognize their name and you think, oh, this is this is somebody I've been talking to and been joining us on the Old Tube Radio. Was Mark. Sorry about that, Mark. I had to bring it up. But Mark, out of Canada, talked to him the last day of the year, and we were on 12 meters. That's what was so cool about it. I was doing some testing through an SDR on 12 meters, and Mark, the gentleman ham that he is, probably thought I was talking to somebody, and so he was standing by waiting for me to finish this sort of non-communication thing, and I was just getting ready to tune away, and he gave out his call, and he was putting in a great signal as always get from that area. And so Mark and I had a great chat up on 12 meters the last day of the year. So Mark, if you're watching or seeing the replay, thanks for that. That was a treat. 73, everybody. Oh, there's Mark's right there. Had fun with that, and probably one of the few 12-meter contacts, but I was just, I had gone up to 11 and gone to 10. I'm thinking, I wonder if 12 is open, and I tuned up the Starduster. So you were hearing me on the Starduster, good stuff. We will look for it again. That's the cool stuff with the radio here. A lot of areas to get on and to have a great time, and all you need is a wire or your little 102-inch whip, and all is good. 73, everybody, from the Old Tube Radio Network. We'll see you next week. Over.
Thank you, Dennis. Thank you, Dennis, and thanks again for letting me help out Cliff there on the air. Anyway, catch you next week, and I'll probably have some more information, and so will he. So will Cliff. So, whatever. Okay, take care. Very good show. Thank you again.
All right, good to hear the voices we haven't heard in a while. And this is the more information frequency. We will do that. Richard's saying that he can't hear himself on Half Moon. That's what happens. When the sun goes down, 40 meters is gone. Go to one of the Kiwi SDRs in Wisconsin or up in Manitoba or maybe the ones up in Alberta. And I guarantee you, you're probably going to hear yourself at 5 watts. It's just a crazy thing. All right, catch you all later. The Old Tube Radio Network. Man, I'm surprised I didn't break more stuff than I did, including me. Testing. Okay. Oh, we're still on. I haven't turned everything off. You know what I'm going to do? Just because I'm curious. I'm curious. I'm tangled up in my wires here. And I think this will work. I'm going to head over to 40 meters, where it is indeed... a dead band, which is noisy. It's just broadcast stations and noise. Not sure what that was. RTTY. There's FT8. There's the RTTY. I love digital stuff going on.
Charlie. Ahora sí, Charlie. Charlie Echo. Charlie Echo 2. Whiskey Kilo. Charlie Alpha. Charlie. Ya, ok. Mira, está ahí con el volumen todo abajo. Todo el volumen abajo. Pero está obviamente prendido.
Yeah, the band is long. I got some stations on 7125 that I bet neither of them are in the U.S.
Ahora del computador está 19. Está todo también se
Some big audio there.
I got licensed in October of 2024.
All right, there's somebody from the U.S. But boy, listen how noisy it is. Crazy stuff. All on the beam of light. It's hard to imagine. All right. Good night, everybody.